Hi everybody, welcome to Father Son Torah. Today we were doing a study on Proverbs 1, and I asked my son here if he understood what $1 trillion was, and he said that he did. And I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe most of us understand what $1 trillion is, but in that video I totally blundered the opportunity to explain why he doesn't understand what $1 trillion is. When I look back over that video, I look like a blabbering idiot. So we're going to do this video to talk about what is $1 trillion. What brought it up in our discussion was in Proverbs chapter 1. We were discussing if sinners entice thee in verse 10. And in that list of the things they will entice thee to commit sin with is cast in thy lots among thyself and let us all have one purse. So that idea of just taking all of our money and putting it in one pot. If I only have $100 and 1 million other people with $100 put it in one pot, all of a sudden now I have $100 million. So it's enticing to think that we should make people give up their money to the government and that we all should have one purse, one social security that we share amongst each other. And so in that, we mentioned about the debt, the national debt that we have, which is astronomical. And actually, I'm going to stop right now. Up on our big screen in the background, we have the national debt clock. And right now, 2 minutes into this video, the national debt is at $27,546,804,000,000. So at the end of this video, we're going to check back in and just see exactly where that's at in just the duration of a couple minute video. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about $1 trillion. And then we're going to talk about this national debt that we have and put a really strong perspective on what $1 trillion is. So $1 trillion is a million millions. So can you wrap your head around a million?
Yeah.
You think about it in terms of money, that's a lot of money. With that much money, you could set yourself up for the rest of your life. $1 million. So $1 trillion is 1 million millions. So with $1 trillion, 1 million people could live like kings for the rest of their lives if they were wise with the way that they spent that $1 million. $1 trillion is also 1,000 billions. A billion is 1,000 millions. So these are still big numbers. How much is $1 trillion? Let's bring some perspective to it. And just to let everybody know, the information that I'm throwing out here in the next couple minutes is all done with a calculator. We all have one. It's not a mystery that some of us can't unlock when playing with these really big numbers. Turn your phone sideways because all those zeros really need a lot of room or your calculator won't be able to process them. Now, in the video we were talking about if I gave you $1 trillion, you gave me $1 trillion, and we paid off $1 million a day. How long would it take? What did I say? Something like 27 years?
Something like that.
27 years? I was extremely wrong. 1 million millions are in $1 trillion. So it would take 1 million days to pay off $1 trillion. So dividing that by 365, let's just play Gregorian stats right now. You ready for the number? Okay, 2,739 years to pay off $1 trillion, paying $1 million every single day. Unfortunately, the way debt works is that you can't just pay off the debt because there is an interest always building up on the debt. And so, like when you borrow money from banks, they commit usury. They charge you interest on the debt and the money that they're lending you. So if I borrowed $100 from you and you charged me interest, then I'd probably have to end up paying you back like $200 when it's all said and done, because the interest just keeps piling more money onto the debt. Now the interest rate currently is only like around 2%. So how much money do you think every single day $1 trillion creates on 2% interest?
I don't know about percentages.
Yeah, okay. Well, then I mean it's all math. That's why I bumbled it up in the earlier video because it's so hard to just do on the spot. You need a calculator for these kind of numbers, man. So interest on $1 trillion a day at 2% is $55 million. So every single day, $55 million is added to $1 trillion debt. Bang, 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 every day. Bang, 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 every day. So if you're paying off $1 million a day and you're getting charged $55 million a day, are you ever going to pay that debt off?
No.
No, never. Okay, so it took us 2,700 years or whatever to pay off $1 trillion at $1 million a day. Every day alone, the interest sets us back almost 2 months. Every week, a year is added. It's 52 years a year. Still complicated. I mean, how are we going to pay this stuff off? So $1 million isn't going to work. So we got 1,000 billions in a trillion. So if we were to pay it off at $1 billion a day, now these numbers are going to start getting fathomable. Okay? If we were to pay $1 trillion debt off at $1 billion every single day, it would take 1,000 days, which would be 2.73 years. That's a number. That's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
You're 15 now. You'll be 17 and almost 18. I won't even be 45 yet. That's fathomable. We could pay off $1 trillion in 3 years, but we would have to be paying off $1 billion a day to do that. And because of that interest rate, it's not $1 billion a day. It's $1,055,000,000 a day. So you'd have to pay the interest rate on top of the $1 billion a day just to get it paid off in 3 years. Now you know what's scary?
What?
Our national debt is $27.5 trillion, and we don't pay one penny to it at all every single day. Now let's talk about $27.5 trillion. So now, if we were to pay out $1 million a day to pay off, now remind you, we don't pay anything right now. Not one single penny goes to pay the debt that this country is in, which is showing us that is $83,000 per person. You, me, your brothers, your sister, your mother, your little brother that's only a couple days old, he owes $83,000. He's born into $83,000 debt load. That's every single person has to pay off $83,000 to take care of 27.5 trillion. That's unfair. That is the evil Proverbs is talking about. Now, let's all put all of our money into a pot and we'll all have one purse. Baloney. We have been enticed by sinners by this Social Security, by this free insurance, free education, all this stimulus money that everybody wants, all these like subsidies and all this free stuff that we think is free. And our newborn son was born into $83,000 debt because of our free stuff. That's wicked. Is that not wicked?
Yes.
Yeah. So back to the $27.5 trillion debt, $1 million every single day. How long does it take to pay off $27.5 trillion? This is a shocking number, man. It would take $1 million a day every single day for 75,000 years to pay that debt off. 75,000 years. So obviously that's ridiculous, right? That's never going to happen. So how do we make this more fathomable, to make it smaller, to make it a more realistic debt that we might be able to pay off? So now let's look at the interest though. Okay, so we're going to pay $1 million a day. That's a drop in the bucket compared to what the interest is compounding on that debt every single day. I mean, look at right now, the interest on that is going up. Okay, ready? I'm going to say now. And now, that went up $10,000 in that much time. That's how fast the interest is piling up on the debt. $1.5 billion a day. So we can't even pay $1 billion a day to make it go down. It just keeps going up. But let's just say there was no interest. If we were to pay $1 billion a day on the debt, guess how many years? If it took 75,000 years to pay off the debt, how many years does it take to pay off the debt paying $1 billion a day? You got a guess there?
25 years.
75 years. How old are you?
15.
How old are you going to be in 75 years?
90.
90. So if we were to pay $1 billion off right now, starting today, you would be 90 years old by the time this debt was paid off. That means your children have grown into that $83,000 debt per person, and your grandchildren, and most likely your grandchildren are having their own children. So your great grandchildren, that is 4 generations. This curse, this debt, is a curse over us for at least 4 generations. But the problem is, we can't even pay off $1 billion a day because $1.5 billion a day is interest. So we have to pay off $2.5 billion a day in order to pay it off in 75 years. And how much are we paying on it currently?
1 million.
No.
What?
Nothing.
Oh.
We're not making any payments to this. Look, it's just going up and up and up and up. We're not paying anything to bring it down. Is this insane?
Yeah.
This is the evil that I mean, just look, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. When they try to tell you this is a good thing, that taking all of our money and putting it together in one pot is just the greatest thing. We'll take care of old people. We'll take care of sick people. We'll educate people. We'll do... No way. This is beyond evil, man. Your great-grandchildren, your grandchildren will be locked into this debt. And who knows how much it's going to go up from now to there. I mean, if it's going up this fast, we're done. We're going to collapse as a country. This society is going to crumble because we aren't even trying to pay on that. I mean, look at some of the statistics up there. We have spent $7.8 trillion just this year. We're only bringing in, if you look, the tax revenue on the other side, we're only bringing in $3.4 trillion through making people pay taxes. So in order to even bring up the revenue stream to the actual government spending, to even stop that debt from going up at all, minus the interest, because the interest is going to keep happening. To even just bring it, we either have to tax everybody 70%, which the government is very much talking about all the time, or we've got to cut spending. In order for us to bring that $8 trillion spending bill down to even the revenue that they're already generating from tax, we'd have to almost cut 70% of the budget. That means like the Medicare, the Social Security, the Defense War, and just the interest alone, those are the 4 biggest budget items right now. Is the interest on this debt is number 4. I mean, that is mind-blowing, man. But, we got to defend ourselves, right? We can't open ourselves up and shut down defense. I mean, other countries would attack us. If our army fell apart, we dismantled it and shut it down. So we need that $1 trillion. And we probably don't need that much, but we need some kind of budget there. Social Security, Medicare, I mean, just those 2 alone only make $2.4 trillion. We need to cut $4 trillion. We still need to find $2 more trillion in the budget to cut. And we're talking like just an insane amount of social programs where we all share this purse, and it's sold to us as such a great thing. But this is the evil. Now we know in Scripture it says, "Thou shalt not commit usury," right? Well, shoot, look at that interest rate going up right now. That interest just rolling. Those numbers are rolling. That is sin compounding itself. The sin of committing that transgression against that law is rolling over on us that fast. So now tell me, can you fathom $1 trillion?
No.
No. It's nobody can. Anybody out there that will say, "Oh, I understand what $1 trillion is." No, you don't. Now here's a question. Now, with all this money that the government is robbing from us and borrowing from the rest of the world, and all this communal purse that we're so sold on, that's such a good thing. I mean, old people need to be taken care of. I mean, what does Scripture say about that? That we are supposed to take care of our elderly. Me. You are going to take care of me. I'm going to be taking care of my parents. That's your kids are going to be taking care of you. That's our Social Security, scripturally. And it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost us $1.111 trillion a year. It's never going to cost you that much to take care of me when I'm an old man.
No.
It's not going to cost your kids that much to take care of you when you're an old man. But that's how much it costs us to take care of old people when we won't do that for our own families. For our own families. We would rather the government plunder us with all of that debt. It's insane. It's totally insane. So now here's a question. Okay? This is going to be kind of funny, all right? So, to imagine how much power trillions of dollars is. Because people don't realize how much power that is and how much power we have given the government. I mean, we see wasteful spending in numbers we can't comprehend, but what they have is this unlimited power. Okay. So I want to give you $1, but you have to pick your nose and eat it for you to get that dollar. Will you do it?
No.
Why not?
Because that's disgusting.
That's disgusting, isn't it?
Yes.
That's so disgusting. Now, let's just say $10. Would you do it for $10?
No.
Would you do it for $100?
No.
Would you do it for $1,000?
No.
You're lying, boy. Because $1,000 is a lot of money. Even me, I'm starting to go, well, it's only a boogie. Would you pick your nose and eat it for $1 million?
No.
Oh, you're a liar. There's not a person out there that would not pick their nose and eat it for $1 million. Because it's just a little boogie. And you get $1 million. With $1 million, you would be set for the rest of your life. How about $5 million? You gonna eat your boogies for $5 million?
No.
$10 million?
No.
See, you don't even. So you say that you thought you understood what $1 trillion is. You don't even understand what $1 million is, because I guarantee you, everybody watching this video right now would eat their boogies for $1 million. I bet you I could even pull it off for $1,000. I bet you I could go out in the street with this video camera. We could go out and say $1,000 cash. You gotta pick your nose and eat it. I guarantee you most people wouldn't turn that down. Okay? But if I went out on the street with $1 and said, I'll give you $1 if you pick your nose and eat it, not a single person will do it. Okay, so now, if $1,000 or $1 million is going to get people to pick their nose and eat it, $1 trillion gives me the ability to make 1 million people eat their boogies. Now that's harmless, right?
No.
Yeah, that's pretty harmless. Yeah, you're like, no, I'm not eating no boogies. Yeah, I promise you, we'll revisit this in about 10 years and we'll see where your limit is on where you'll eat some boogies for some money. Okay, now, do you think there's people out there that would eat their boogies for $1 million?
Yes.
Yes, right. Do you think there's people out there that would eat their boogies for $10?
Not much.
Not much, but there is, isn't there? Okay, now think about this. I've got $1 trillion in my pocket. The government plunders $3.5 trillion from us every year. So now let's just say I want, I don't know, the king of some foreign country to die. And I've got $3.5 trillion in my pocket every year. So, do you think somebody would do it for $1?
No.
No, not at all. That's stupid. Do you think somebody would do it for $10?
No.
No. Do you think somebody would do it for $1,000? There
Some
are,
people.
yeah, there are. That's where your breaking point is. Now all of a sudden you got some crazy crackheads out there that would be like, oh, $1,000, yeah, I'll kill somebody. Yeah, I mean, now next thing you know, but when you're doing something like a high mark, like a prince of a country or a king of a country or whatever, a leader, you can't pay $1,000 to the local crackhead to go kill the guy. So you're gonna have to invest a little bit more in that. But you got 3.5 trillion, so you think you could find somebody to do it for $1 million?
Yes.
I bet you could find a professional, somebody who would no problem be enticed to go sin with that communal purse going on. And so $3.5 trillion, now you just got somebody killed for $1 million. $1 trillion can kill 1 million people. That gives you the power to just kill 1 million people. And there you'll find somebody out there who will do something like that. So how much power does somebody have with $1 trillion? I mean, not only can we can get anybody to eat their boogies. That's a lot of money, man. Like we can, and I mean, I could come in strong and never pay over. I bet you I could get anybody to eat their boogies for the most part, not everybody, but mostly anybody to eat their boogies, no more than $10,000 a pop. And I mean, some people be in their nose, and that stuff will be in their mouth quicker than you can finish your sentence. Guaranteed. If they know that it's a serious proposition. But likewise, you're going to find people who would kill, who would steal, who would commit sin and do evil. So that's the kind of power we give this government. And look at how much they've abused. How many people did they pay? $27.5 trillion. What corrupted evil have they perpetrated on this world with that kind of money? This whole COVID thing, the government's giving out trillions of dollars like it's candy. And they just borrowed $1 trillion. We just saw how long it would take. 2,700 years to pay off $1 trillion. And they just passed the bill, and they're going to give everybody $600. What a joke, man. And we are such donkeys for freaking even thinking that's a great thing. To thinking that our government is thinking about us and taking care of us and doing something for us. It's evil, it's wicked, and that is what Proverbs is talking about. And that should have been my answer earlier, but it was just too sudden and too quick, and I didn't have enough time to sit and really explain the gravity of $1 trillion when we were discussing it in our earlier video. So I just thought we would share that with you all. I hope you guys are as blown away and perplexed as we are, because it's insane. Now, we've been on this video for half an hour. We're going to call it quits here. And the national debt is now $27,546,878,000,000. So I don't recall exactly what the number was I did 2 minutes into the video, but we will go back, we will tally that up, and we will put in the description of the video the total amount of money that we went into debt with just over this half-hour video. So I hope you realize that $1 trillion is way out of our realms of comprehension, and it's way out of their realms of comprehension too. Most of them just don't know it yet, just like we didn't know it. So what do you think? Insane?
Yes.
Is it a lot more crazier than you thought?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, $1 trillion isn't just a thing. Yeah, it's just $1 trillion. No, that's some serious bankroll, man. And we've got very corrupt sinners who are using that bankroll to entice us to fall further into sin. That is the Pharaoh of our modern age. We are selling ourselves into this bondage of slavery. So what is $1 trillion? I don't know. If you've got a different idea, or you've come up with some other numbers with your calculator, comment below in the comment section. As for us, that's our discussion on this topic. So we thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy Father Son Torah. Out.